Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here and welcome to my review of Doctor Who Planet of Giants, the first story in Season 2 of Doctor Who. So, this story is a three-part adventure kicking off the second season in 1964. It was originally going to be a four-parter, but they edited parts 3 and 4 down to one part, although on this DVD release you can get a reconstruction of the original parts 3 and 4, which I haven't seen yet. I did try to, but then the DVD came into glitches. There's a little bit of sticky dirt on it for some reason. I don't know how it got there. It was there when I bought it. It was from CX, so second hand. Fun story, actually. I had the chance of getting it at Forbidden Planet, nice and new, no problem. But it was but I was saying, if it's cheaper at Forbidden Planet than CX, I'll get it there. It was £1 more in Forbidden Planet, so I thought, oh, I'll get it in CX. It's cheaper by £1. So I did. The result, kind of a slightly sticky disc. So well done me. Cheapskate. If I'd got the £7 one in Forbidden Planet, I probably would have had a nice new disc. Slap on the wrist for that. Oh! Ow! Get another one. Oh! But, anyway, story. Planet of Giants sees the story of the Doctor and his companions being shrunken down to the size of an inch after the TARDIS doors unexpectedly open. The doors open during materialisation. It's due to pressure. This never happens again, though. They do open in flight or travelling in time and space, but never in materialisation or dematerialisation. At least not on screen. So they're reduced to the size of an inch, and they have to survive they're back on Earth in the present day, probably 64, and they have to survive dangers such as a cat, poison, it's an insecticide that is, and being trodden on by humans. And there is a scheme at work by a human to not lose his money by killing a guy who will not approve a new insecticide that this scientist has been working on, who really is desperate for it to go ahead so that crops will not, that insects will be killed so more food can be grown. But what the scientist doesn't realise until a little bit later on is that it actually kills everything. It's not quite as successful as he thought. The business guy, he just wants his money back, basically, from spending a lot of making deals and marketing it, and that's why he kills the guy who said, no, it can't go ahead. Whoops. He gets arrested in the end by a policeman. Yeah, that's basically the plot of the story. The Doctor and his companions have to survive in this world of larger things, whilst these other people talk about an insecticide. And with the businessman as the main villain, because he's prepared to kill. Despite that bit of a thin explanation of the plot, it is actually a really well told story. It is brilliantly executed, and with the Doctor and the companions, small but in a large environment, and it's actually pretty good to see the story from their point of view, smaller, and how they're causing problems for the people in the house whilst trying to resolve the situation for them. There's more tension when Barbara gets some of the insecticide on her and starts to feel unwell, and that's making the extra threat more tense than it actually already is. Well, it's been pretty tense because they're so small they can easily get harmed by large creatures such as other insects, the cat, and other objects. It's just that the insecticide puts an extra level of threat in that, which is really good. It's also nice to see the point of view of normal human beings. In a way, this is the less interesting part of the story, but it is still very good. And yeah, it's really well executed in a way. And actually, it's one of the best executed stories of the 60s because of the concept. It must have cost cost quite a bit though. Oh well. worth it in the end. So, Planet of the Giants, I think it's a great story, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I don't think it's completely perfect, but I still think it's a big success for the show, and it's a fantastic way to kickstart season 2, especially as we had the pretty weak ending of season 1, which was the Reign of Terror. I know a lot of people like that story, probably more than this one, but God, I can't really stand it that much. So thank God for this story. Thank freaking God. And I have to say, season 2 is not going to stay as good as this. We're going to have a bit of a dip before it comes back a bit stronger towards the end. But before we get to that dip, we have another brilliant story to go through, and probably a slightly better sequel to an original featuring these magnificent classic Doctor Who villains. Next time we'll be looking at The Dalek Invasion of Earth, the sequel to The Daleks. And I like The Daleks, but I think this is an improved follow-up Dalek story to that. So, yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel. This will not be the last time they open during In Flight, but this is the first.